making another video. Yes, on the same subject, sort of. Yeah, I know I have to do something different or better. Somebody pointed out that Star of Sagittarius, yes, make a video response to Star of Sagittarius 1. Yeah, so I watched this video and it was just insane. Well, crazy. Incoherent. Not even, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll do pyrrho instead. It's almost the same thing. The jargon is just as useless. So anyway, this guy is James McGrin, who I'm not too sure I like, but we'll see. Here's a question for Inmendham. The question pivots on two hypotheticals. If people are oriented toward gaining or maximizing value, well, I don't know if that's exactly how I would say people are oriented. You know, I mean, the value word is so ambiguous in sense is you have to define what people are after. Obviously, there's a whole lot of people after the truth. There's people after all kinds of things they value. So, and if belief in determinism brings them negative value, which I don't even understand how that happens. Determinism isn't necessarily positive or negative overtly, unless you're totally misunderstanding it, or unless it's a threat to your God theory or some other, it has some incidental consequence relevant to some other thing you're horny for. But determinism in and of itself, I mean, the statement that you are programmed by your environment is hardly a horrific truth. When we expect them to have very negative emotional reactions, well, again, emotional reactions and considered reactions, that is, thoughtful ones. The argument is that as people are obligated to become grown-ups or more mature, they're supposed to have considered reactions, not emotional reactions. They're not supposed to be 2 years old for their whole fucking life. To even consider the notion determinism to be true. Well, again, that's your underestimate of what a human being is. I say they have potential to be a hell of a lot more than that. Some sort of reactionary, emotional retard who won't even consider the possibility that they're wrong. There's nothing defensible in that, if that's the truth. And I don't think it's the truth, though. I think people are, traditions have strong binds on people. And the stupid door just cracked open for no good reason. And, you know, that's all kind of, you know, this heritage thing, lots of things, lots of programming they go through in their lives. Cat. Figured out how to break the door open. Anyway, no, you go in the chair. Chair. That's it. Chair. Chair is for cats. Anyway, this whole reward and punishment thing. So again, it's sort of related to what you're saying. See, the cat plays a game sometimes, jumps on the couch because he knows I'll pay attention to him if he jumps on the couch. So, because I won't really punish him. I mean, I don't technically reward him for it, but in a way I do, because I reinforce staying on the chair. But the real reinforcement is make the mess, and then I'll come clean it up for him, kind of thing. So certainly there's a whole bunch of psychology in what motivates people, but there's nothing fundamental, I think, to any of these arguments that are abhorrent to the human condition. Obviously, people like myself have grown into them without any horror imposed by the ideas themselves. The horror is in the stupidity of what we accept, what we're conditioned into, in terms of it's almost embarrassing to imagine myself as one of those blind humans, you know, sniffing for an ass crack, you know, doing something quite degrading to my dignity, to be one of them, one of the go-alongers. So anyway, so that's sort of related to the subject, I suppose, but I don't think it's a relevant argument. You don't argue against determinism by saying it's inconvenient or people won't like it or something like that. I mean, those are stupid arguments. The argument is what the truth is. That's what we're arguing anyway. That's what people who have intelligence are trying to argue. What's the truth? Not what makes people feel better. So, not really relevant. You know, how it will affect people. That's not really the subject. I mean, it's not that that's not an important subject, the destiny of mankind, but it's not this subject. Alright, so we'll do some pyrrhoing. So he has two videos, inevitability and cause and effect. Both of them short and both of them not very good.
Message, you know, Heiflett and Gary are fooling themselves.
Okay, so, you know, he's funny, whatever he's using, his camera, I mean his phone or whatever, it doesn't start when he starts, and so he says things and then the video doesn't start recording until after he's already started, which is a little bit strange. But pyrrho and technical difficulties never ends. So anyway, so he's going to make some kind of counter argument, but not in this video.
To try to rely on some sort of compatibilism.
Okay, so he says it's compatibilism. Obviously, I don't buy into any of this nonsense of compatibilism. I don't think you should ever delude yourself into thinking there's any concept of freeness in your brain, some sort of freeness to free. I'll source the freeness mechanism and get my ideas from the freeness, and you know. I'll import some freeness. I'll open my eyes really wide so the freeness can get in. No, there's no freeness. I'm a conditioned organism. I react based on now 5 decades of experience on Earth. More than 5 decades. You know, substantially more.
They says, you know, you can believe in determinism and get up and go, the world is determined, I better get at it. And you could get up and say...
Look, you can get up and say anything. You're not really saying it, of course, but your brain will run programs saying, I got to get more done, or I'm falling behind, or my videos aren't effective. This weird Mexican guy got 2 million views on his channel, 2 million subscribers, and he doesn't even speak English well, and his videos suck, and you're like, how the fuck am I failing worse than that turd? I mean, he's probably short and fat and everything. It's just amazing. Yeah, so yeah, I can think lots of things. Lots of things can occur to me. But they're not going to be magical things from nowhere. They're going to be things from my life experience and from my maturating into the world and learning how it works and what chair to jump on to take a nap. It's, you know, there's no magic or free stuff. It's, you gotta practice playing the piano to play the piano. I mean, fuck. This isn't that complicated. No brain surgery without practicing.
The world is not determined, and so you don't get up.
Well, again, you know, you should just direct the video to Hoffaday, because I don't do this whole. Determinism doesn't make itself aware to me when I wake up and I start having determinism moments of saying, gee, I'm undecided about what to do. Yes, I could be undecided, but I'm not going to be sitting there saying, where's the determinism kicking in? I'm at any other undecided moment. You just think a little harder and you say, which one outweighs the other? And the first number you get doesn't have a decimal point, right? So you have 5 to 5. You know, get up, stay in bed. 5 to 5, they're even. And then you think about it, and you try to see the next decimal place. And then you see that getting up is 5.7, and you say staying in bed is 5.3. Oh, yep, getting up wins.
And it's all inevitable.
Yes, the inevitability doesn't really have much to do with this whole waking up thing. Everything that runs in your head is inevitable. Your dreams, your thoughts, every burp, every fart. It's all caused by structural physical mechanisms, arrangements of those mechanisms.
Well, they can't judge me for my disagreement.
Well, I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was making an argument in defense of a truth. It didn't have anything to do with judging you, but if you want me to judge you, I'll say, yes, you're an idiot.
believes that the world is not inevitable, because there were...
I believe the world's not inevitable, and I just believe it because it's believable. It seems that way. It seems and looks and appears. So that's good enough for me. Fuck anything called logical evidence. I won't bother with that.
Idea that the world is inevitable is not because of some intelligence, according to them. It's not because some intelligence of theirs they figured it out.
Again, that's not our argument, that we figured it out. The argument is a whole litany of the stuff called the figure. You know, the figures. The pointing out how computers don't make errors because of quantum irregularity, and how there's structures and mechanics that are way beyond any of your quantum randomness, even if it could possibly exist, which it doesn't. And that there really is nothing. You synthesize random. You don't have actual random. It's only something you're, in a sense, artificially creating by creating enough complexity to disguise the truth. But that's all it is. It's just enough volume to disguise the truth.
They simply inevitably came to this conclusion.
Well, they inevitably came to the logical conclusion based on the compilation of evidence. Like I came to the conclusion there's no God because God's brain wouldn't make any sense. God's existence as being created doesn't make any sense. The fact that he would be around forever doing absolutely nothing that we've heard of doesn't make any sense. The fact that he's a shitty creator doesn't make any sense. Yes, you can just go on and on and on and on about all the fucking evidence that demonstrates it doesn't make any fucking sense. So it didn't just occur to me that the universe is deterministic. It fucking, when you add up all the evidence of all the mechanisms and try to find one single place where any kind of controlling mechanism that's outside the scope of cause and effect, there is no such fucking mechanism.
According to them, I inevitably came to the conclusion that the future isn't inevitable. That there is going to be a future isn't.
Right, and you came to that conclusion through what process? Through your wish that it's true, more than anything else. Your incredible bias on the subject that's demonstrated by your fanatical and eccentric exaggeration and your overreaction to any threat to that theory.
Inevitable. But not what it is going to be.
It's inevitable, but not what it is isn't inevitable. Yeah, okay. That's worse than compatibilism. That's incoherent.
And they are absolutely wrong, and we know they are wrong.
And we do, the we coming out again. We know that they're wrong because we know that there's real randomness happening all the time and all kinds of things. Computers just all of a sudden blow up for no reason. Space shuttles blow up for no reason. There's never a cause. They just blow up because of the irregularity in the quantum flux.
The feeling of inevitability is a symptom, for example, of depression in people that have worked.
Oh, so this is just complete nonsense of an argument. So now he's arguing he's got some sort of theory based on absolutely no research or evidence. I would imagine that there's some correlation between people who recognize that there are certain inevitabilities, like I'm going to die someday, and depression. I mean, what the fuck is this as an argument? The argument from I'm going to make up a psycho syndrome, a psycho syndrome, to attack you rather than actually make fucking arguments. You creepy drunk. I mean, shit, that deserves a creepy drunk statement. You creepy fucking drunk. What a bogus way to argue. You're depressed, that's why you think the world is cause and effect. Fuck you. Bogus bullshit, you drunk.
Themselves out of depression have realized that it's because they had to accept that they could make a difference in their own life.
Well, they could make a difference in their own life. So whatever this they is. So the they is what? Oh, I think it's called an idea. That's what the they is. They could make a difference in their own life. That means the ideas you possess, the mechanisms you've learned about, like exercise. Exercise can help you lose weight. Exercise can help speed up your metabolism. Exercise can do certain things. You can have knowledge of that, and then you'll exercise for that purpose. I need to lower my cholesterol. Well, maybe I'll take some vitamins and exercise. There's nothing magical about that. That's having the knowledge. There's people that have knowledge and people who don't have knowledge of some mechanism that can facilitate to expedite their reactions. There's people who understand that, oh, I'm an emotional basket case and I have to learn not to react. They can know that, and then they can do something to mitigate, because that program's running and it's constantly looking for them doing some kind of hysterical overreaction. Don't hysterically overreact.
Maybe they could make a difference in everything.
Maybe they could make a difference, yes. And no one's arguing against the capacity of human beings to be smart and intelligent in how they live their lives and in attempting to be useful and constructive and productive. And Holiday's not against it. I'm not against it. So this is a straw man bullshit argument that somehow determinists are anti be effective in your life. No, no such thing, idiot.
Thing that bothered them about the whole fucking world being one person. But they can make a difference in their own life, and ultimately...
Okay, they can make a difference in their own life. They again. They. Who? Homunculus can make a difference? No. The only thing that can make a difference is my my knowledge base and my psychology. That's all that can make a difference, is that I can understand something. I can understand, well, I'm sort of got a crappy mood. I'm in a bad, bad ebb, bad flow. Maybe I have to pick up my thoughts a little to try to pick up my mood a little. So yeah, you can do this self-motivating thing, but we know the self-motivating mechanism is an idea mechanism. The idea says, look, there's something not working, I need to fix it. That's the idea. And you have ways of fixing it. Some people have all kinds. Rub a crystal, some people will say. Some people say pray to a god. Some people will say take some vitamins. Some people will say, oh, take some herbs. Some people say go to China and have a surgery. Some people say all kinds of shit that'll solve your problem. Okay, once you recognize it exists. But that's all you're doing. You have the idea that I need to up my performance. And then you try to find ways to do that based on what you understand to be realistic or practical ways to do that. How is this undeterministic? That source of knowledge or that source of motivation doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't come from Freeville or the Free God or Freetopia. It comes from understanding. It comes from an idea.
In the lives of people around them, and ultimately, therefore, in the world, to whatever small degree.
Well, again, it could be to a huge degree. That's what you don't know. Everything you do, you just don't know. There's any moment you could do something that would have changed things dramatically. There's probably hundreds of people that lived in the circle of Adolf Hitler, and any one of them could have changed the destiny of mankind by just, saying the right thing to Adolf on the right day. And they could have given him a thought that, maybe this all isn't worth it.
Because when you think that everything is predetermined, because...
Well, again, predetermined how? It's predetermined in that it's causes and effects, and you have to be either, when you're part of that cause and effect chain, and all you have control over is the fact that you can see tendencies, and you can see that you're tending towards a brick wall, or you're tending towards, everything's going really well. You can see when the train is on the track or when the train's wobbling. So if the train's wobbling, you can say, hey, wait a minute, it's not supposed to wobble. Wobble means that it might do that off the track thing. So let's fix the wobble. You can do that. And it's all determined that you're going to notice the train is wobbling and that you're going to do something about it because it's logical. Yes, it's all predetermined that you're going to do that. But the stupid thing to be is a fatalist who thinks, no, the train doesn't fall off the track, even though I see the signs that it's going to fall off the track. That's the stupid part, to think, no, I can't detect tendencies of what the future is going to be, and recognize that it's impossible that the future is good if I'm watching it go bad. If I'm watching the mold eat the vegetable, I can't say, a week from now the vegetable is going to be worth eating. I can know it's not going to be.
Humans are driven motivationally.
Duh.
It does affect whether you try to do anything or not.
It does. So how exactly does it affect whether you try to do anything or not? How does knowing that you could be vital to preventing your best friend from drinking and driving, or that you could be vital in stopping Adolf Hitler, or you could be vital in saying the right words to anybody today, and you could motivate them or totally throw them into depression. Everything you do is implicatory in what the end result will be, that whether you like it or not, you have to read a script. And the script is either going to be dumbass or good ass. But it ain't going to be anything else. It's going to be some kind of script, and it's going to be some kind of effect. Now, how is that knowledge deflating? How does that knowledge make you unmotivated? Oh, that's right. It doesn't do that at all. So this is all just a straw man pile of crap. Typical. Can't ever get the argument right, can you?
And they claim, Gary, for example, that, yeah, well, we end up with this illusion of being able to make choices.
I don't say that at all. So again, what the fuck's the point? I keep talking about decisions. And if you really analyze your choices, what I'm saying is there's no illusion at all. There was no choice. There was a decision. And you can only process it based on what you understand to be the things that are of value. And what you think you can get away with, so to speak. If you're as kind of a sinister, selfish asshole, well then, yeah, you'll find excuses not to risk yourself. I mean, I've never been put in the position, right, where you have to go into the burning car to save the, 7-year-old girl or something in the burning car that could explode at any minute. I've never been tested. I'd like to think that, okay, I'd have the courage to do it, but I've never been tested. But I'm just saying that, where am I arguing that any of these decisions, okay, have any illusion of that some magical thing is going to make the choice, and not 50 plus years of life experience? That's what's going to make the choice. My life experience.
To have a part in the future, because somehow it's a benefit to us as biological creatures still, somehow. I don't know how that could possibly work out.
I don't know why he drifted that there, so I'm going to go back and we'll play that again. What I argued is that it is conducive to people's comfort to believe in gods. It's conducive to people's egos to believe they're doing something special, that they're not byproduct. They don't want to hear that they're just byproduct. They want to think they're the product. They don't want to think they're effect. They want to think they're cause. That's comforting to their psychology. But I would argue it's not an obstacle of bad psychology we can't easily overcome.
Because somehow it's a benefit to us as biological creatures still, somehow. I don't know how that could possibly work out, but they seem to think that compatibilism works out.
Well, again, I never endorsed compatibilism. I think it's a silly concept. Lying to yourself is just idiotic. Why would I endorse any kind of delusionary nonsense that we somehow need free will? We need to think we have it. No, we don't. It plays absolutely no role. It is completely, to me, it would be really irritating to think, oh, you mean my brain's just going to do some kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing? You mean it's not even going to try to be logical? It's just going to do like some kind of random choice? No, I don't like that. That's bad news. Random is bad, not good. Not good for logic to be randomly choosing directions.
In other words, it's a benefit to have this illusion, evolutionarily, to your survival.
Well, again, this is all arguments that are silly. What's beneficial to your survival, apparently, genetically and all that stuff, especially now, is being stupid as fuck. Okay, because yes, stupid people will eat shit, they'll talk shit, they'll feed on all kinds of shit. Okay, they'll live in the fucking cesspool and like it. All right, so what's required to be a survivalist now is to be a fucking idiot.
Now, if your survival is still important to you, then evidently, according to them, this illusion is vitally important to you.
Well, again, I don't know where this comes from. Where have I ever said that this illusion has anything to do with the quality of your life or your survival? Where? This is just such... I can't even call it a straw man. It's so distant from... It's not a man. It's a blob of straw. It's a straw blob. It doesn't have anything to do with any argument I've ever made.
You evolved it because in order to continue to survive, you need it. And why the universe would want you to survive, I don't know. That's something...
Well, I don't even know why we're calling ourselves again the universe. So we're forgetting about the fact that brains are self-motivated, selfishly motivated, forgetting the whole selfish gene notion that the individual organisms are the ones fighting in the war for survival. We're not surviving as a human race, we're surviving as individuals, and the byproduct of that is the survival of the human race. So let's not pretend that the universe wants us to survive in any way whatsoever. So that's just a pile of shit. The universe doesn't have a brain, the universe doesn't think, it's just idiotic. It's like saying the sponge wants. No, the individual cells that make up the sponge does. The sponge never does.
They can't and won't explain successfully.
Again, you lie. What do you want me to explain? The non-argument I haven't made. Oh, okay. No, I don't think I'll bother doing that, jackass, liar, cunt.
The future is not inevitable.
Except it is. So somehow he says the randomness is going to random into us, and it's going to make us make decisions that are against our own logical principles, against our own knowledge base, or that in some way there's this subtle little random thing that will happen. So when we're really 50-50 on doing something, we really don't know whether to go left or to go right, the little random engine is going to say, go right. And so the universe will be different because we randomly made a different choice. Not intelligently, not stupidly, randomly made a different choice. So we randomly broke what would have been some sort of better way of deciding when it's 50-50.
And thinking that it's inevitable does waste energy.
So somehow it wastes energy to recognize cause and effect. That things that happen for reasons. That there's nothing you can point to in this frickin' world that you can take any kind of decent picture of or show me that does anything not caused. Now, he'll say quantum's doing it. Quantum's uncaused. There's no cause for the photon to go left or the photon to go right. He has no evidence that it's not caused. He's just saying, well, it's a place we can't see. It's completely black. We have no information coming out of that area. And he's going to claim that in that black space, that little tiny space, is where all the magic is. So there's no magic in the rest of the universe that we can ever detect, but he's going to claim it's in that dark little closet we can't look in. So there's 1 million boxes in this room, let's say. And the only box I can't look in is the box he says the magic's in. Now, does that sound convenient or what? That sounds like an extraordinary claim that should require something, at least ordinary evidence, and he doesn't have evidence any. He just has an assumption.
You waste energy stopping yourself from using...
Okay, so somehow determinism, understanding cause and effect, stops you from recognizing that your life is implicating the rest of the world. No. Doesn't get my way at all.
The will that you have, whether it's
okay, the will that you have, again, what is this will thing? Again, I'm going to argue all the will is ideas. And you have strong ideas and weak ideas. You have ideas that are important and less important, vital and less vital. Things that you must maintain in your life, things that, I don't care if that rots and dies. There's parts of your house that you're more worried about than other parts of your house. Same thing. There's no will. There's priorities.
compatibilist will, or, you know, totally free will, or what I think, which is a will that costs energy.
Okay, a will that costs energy. So somehow from the magic-free place, we derive the seeds of some sort of energy fluid that'll now energize us with the free energy that'll make us do where we weren't going to be a doer before. Or you'll rewrite the script for us in some kind of way where now we're a different person because we got the free energy. We were able to reach the free energy because we weren't blindsided or blinded by this horrible cause and effect notion that somehow blinds us to the, hey, I can go reach up and grab some free energy and will myself into a new human being. Shit. I'm sorry, this is baby talk. He has a degree in philosophy. See, this is the reason why the world just sucks. Is this guy has a degree in philosophy, thinks he knows something about logic, and this is the kind of bullshit argument he makes. We have access to the will energy.
You're wasting that energy.
Right. So again, I'm wasting what? I'm not investing in your silly ideas, is all you're saying. We have lots of people in the world using all kinds of energy, trying to kill each other because one guy thinks Muhammad runs the universe and the other jackass thinks Jesus does. They have all kinds of will energy. That's wasted will energy. Okay? That's wasted life. Alright? For you to point your finger at me and say I'm wasting some part of me, fuck you. And your fucking accusations. Fuck you, you drunk.
And you are definitely changing your actions through changing your motivation too.
Oh, well, duh. But you don't change your motivation. Your motivation is a cause and effect mechanism. You're motivated because the circumstances around you are, and the circumstances inside of you create a circumstance. A superposition, the forces running inside of you, the principles, the ideas of the environment create a mixture that sometimes you see the opportunity, the door, opportunity, it knocks you open.
Act. And why are you doing that? For the same reason that people have concluded that there must be a God. The universe makes...
So again, now he's blaming it on some notion of a dogmatic, idiotic, silly belief in religion. So believing in cause and effect, he's comparing to belief in Jehovah. And this is some kind of credible or respectable argument? No, it's worthy of being pissed and shit on. You're a shitty, stupid person making fucking... degrading and insultingly stupid arguments. You're a dumbass.
No sense without God, and the universe makes sense, so therefore there's a God. The universe only makes...
Yeah, again, it doesn't make any sense. God doesn't make any sense. The theory of heaven doesn't make any sense. Hell, forever torturing something because they you know, looked at another woman's ass is idiotic. The whole thing's fucking idiotic.
Makes sense if things are predetermined. So therefore it's predetermined.
Well, again, that's not the argument, and it's, again, you're just being such a weasel to do this bullshit of pretending that's what people are arguing here. They've give you all these arguments from physics, from mechanics, and here you play this silly fucking game. You have no evidence of anything influencing our behavior that has anything called intelligence to it. At minimum, you can create some kind of weak argument that there's something random that might be fucking with us. How would random will improve my destiny? How would something randomly making me make a decision make me a better person? That's impossible, jackass. So you have absolutely nothing rational to build this mush on except your religious belief in a fucking silver lining around the universe, that it's doing this for some fucking goddamn reason. You're the religious kook, you fucking cunt of a liar.
Which is just a way of believing the world is supposed to make that kind of sense to you.
And again, what does it have to do with making sense to somebody? It's saying, how do I make sense out of their fake belief that I'm somehow being controlled by some free mechanism that messes with my will and makes me do things? How do I make sense out of that? Just as I can't make sense of a God sitting around forever, okay, and then one day it occurs to him, oh, I would like some little humans to play with. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Because you have no proof. The world...
No, all the evidence indicates. You're the one with zero proof. You have zero evidence. Like I said, the only thing you have the thinnest evidence for is random interference in our lives. You don't have any evidence of constructive, free interference. If there was any free element that fucked with our willpower, how is it constructive when it's random, jackass?
What we live in, it looks obviously like the future can be affected by your actions.
And where, I mean, huge, preposterous blob of straw man nonsense. Where did Hathaway Army say your actions do not affect the future? Where? Where did that argument show up? I haven't seen it made by me, that's for fucking sure, you fucking liar.
It looks like you make choices.
It looks like, again, it seems like you make choices. Yeah, well, you really don't. You make decisions, and you make decisions based on how you've been programmed, how your little, Trump's little gestures. Everybody has we all have our little gestures. We all have little eyebrows that pop up and down in certain ways. We all have fucking mannerisms. We all have fucking talkyisms. I say fuck a lot. Fuck. I say it with emphasis. Because it's a way of releasing my frustration and my fucking anger that these fucking assholes like you exist, that you can get away with these stupid, insipid arguments that I have to respond to, that I have to defend myself against stupid and insipid, mushy, shitty arguments by fucking assholes like you. But all of that didn't come from Freeville. It came from fucking decades of programming.
Affect those actions. It's not totally free. It takes energy.
It's not free at all, whatever free the fuck is. Free. What the fuck is a free, you fucking idiot? Free from what? Free from what? Free from what, by the way? If no one's ever bothered to ask you, free from what exactly, jackass?
Energy. And you have an argument of why the energy isn't worth it.
No one's made any it's not worth it argument. And especially I haven't. I've made exactly the opposite argument. I've argued against fatalism or feudalism and argued insanely and aggressively for, yes, if you see the brick wall coming and you're the passenger in the car, tell the driver. It'll work. Trust me, it's a good idea. Tell him. The brick wall's coming. It'll work. Fuckhead.
Which is a way of taking the energy and flushing it. Energy that could be used to make the world a better place.
Right. So the random quantum irregularities will somehow make you make the right decision because your default state was to make the wrong decision. So every decision that you're ever going to make was always going to be wrong, and the quantum irregularity at least makes half of them right now. Because every one of them would have been wrong. So it's almost like a God theory in the sense that, yes, you're born a sinner, and your only salvation is to undo all your sinfulnesses. Fix all your bad character, because you're born with all this bad character. So yes, you need some randomness to remold you into at least a half-decent person. You fucking people are insipidly silly.
Which it needs to be.
Completely bogus bullshit. Okay, so now we'll go to the other one. Cause and effects, he called it. He won't be on the subject of cause and effects. It's only 2 minutes.
Here's the problem you have with Did you get that? Did it start?
No, it
Here's the
didn't.
problem you have with the law.
No, it didn't. So I don't even know who you're talking to, you jackass. I mean, you really could do a little better than this. You're supposed to be a technology guy. And it seems like everything you touch is technically shitty.
Cause and effect, right? The fact is our experience, the fact is that our experience with cause and effect shows that your will is part. It's one of the causes.
Again, yes, the ideas and principles you believe in is one of the causes. That's right. If you're some kind of guy, some guy has a real ego problem, he says, I want to be a hero, and he joins the military, and he blah, blah, blah. Yes, he's willed, he's driven by it because he sees great value, okay, in being, like having his name on a plaque somewhere. That means something to him. I mean, he's horny for it. All right? Yeah, so he's driven by that because that's what he lives for. That's what he values. Like anaconda vada and his fucking cheese. Everybody has their thing that they live for, that they like, that they're motivated by. But those things don't come from nowhere. Those things come from how you're maturated. I mean, everybody knows this. I mean, you know, ghetto penthouse. We know the penthouse people don't go ghetto all of a sudden. And we know that the ghetto people just don't automatically be penthouse people. Yeah, we know it works that way.
When you make bad decisions,
piano players don't play the violin. And bassoon players don't play the clarinet. Usually.
It causes bad effects, for example. There's nobody that can deny that.
So something causes bad effects. Let's do that again.
Will is part. It's one of the causes. When you make bad decisions, that causes bad effects, for example.
Right, and you can't be sure, though. That's the problem, right? You can't be sure ever. It's like saving somebody in traffic. You see somebody going to get hit by a car in traffic, you push them out of the way because it doesn't cause you anything. You know, you can back up enough so you don't get killed. So win-win. You saved a person, you don't get killed, nobody gets hurt, and you find out he's a child molester. So yeah, sometimes good things go bad.
There's nobody that can deny that.
Yes, the thing I would deny is that we can know. What I would argue is that we can only do the best we can in the sense we invest in the probability. So if you have some inkling that, well, maybe most people are probably doing something good, more good than bad, well, see, then I can't make the argument to save any of them because, yeah, I don't think most people are doing more good than bad. And the younger they get killed, the better because the less likely they are to breed. Now I've just saved a whole bunch of more people from trouble by preventing that breeder. So yeah, all of a sudden the logic becomes clear. Don't save anybody because they're not worth it. They're probably a shithead and your world's probably better off with them dead.
When you could think decisions are an illusion. It doesn't change the fact.
No, I don't think decisions are illusions. See, that's where you're silly again. These silly accusations. Who argued that? Who said decisions are an illusion? Well, maybe Hoffaday did. Okay, maybe he implied that we have the illusion that the decision is somehow. Maybe he's arguing that people think it's spontaneous when it's not spontaneous, when it's cause and effect. It doesn't come from nowhere, it comes from somewhere.
That when you make a bad decision, it has a bad effect.
Again, but defining what a bad decision is the tricky part here in the sense that I would say the obvious definition is the less informed the decision is, the more likely it is to be bad. So the more educated or intelligent and thoughtful, considered, the more you process, the more time spent thinking about it and thinking sincerely about it, the more likely the decision is going to be constructive rather destructive to the human condition or the animal condition.
You decide to...
Although some of them are quite obvious. You just know when you're stealing the candy from the baby, you're probably not doing anything constructive.
Rob the bank with your buddy friends and, you know, there's a bad effect. Maybe you even get away with it. But it's still a bad effect. You're on the run, and etc., etc.
Yeah, I know, but lots of good things might have happened in the process, like the bank manager might have been killed, and he was a son of a bitch. He was a really bad person, and so it was really good. One of the bankers is dead. Yay! So, even if you go to prison, it was worth it, because you killed somebody who was just a maniacal son of a bitch.
Cause and effect, the whole concept of cause and effect, shows that your will is one of those causes.
Well, again, who was arguing otherwise, retard? So again, this is so straw man, as if somehow the side defending determinism hasn't already stated that every one of your thoughts is predetermined. That all your thoughts are constructed by first learning how to speak, learning vocabulary in a certain dialect. Okay, you learn it regionally. You learn how to understand the meaning of words based on how maybe scientific the person was who taught you the meaning of words and how ambiguous their definitions were. As I see the word chaos to be totally related to the idea that there's an undeterminable cause related to how the things is functioning, like nothing's instrumental.
You decide has an effect. And certainly no compatibilist is denying that.
I don't even know, again, who are you arguing with? Who's the compatibilist? I mean, Hoffaday argued for the idea of, well, you might as well just pretend you have free will because it doesn't matter understanding determinism, where I would have exactly the opposite argument, that understanding that you're determined will give you some recognition of the fact that what has determined me. And as soon as you ask that question, then you find out that there's a bunch of suspect sources for your determinism, a suspect sources for your identity. My parents really weren't qualified. The teachers that taught me weren't qualified. None of the things that influenced me, in my opinion, are very qualified to construct a properly thinking human being. And so I should be suspect regarding almost every element of my personality and how it has affected my destiny. And I should constantly be taking inventory in some way of trying to recognize any critically huge biases or stupidities built into my comfort.
So cause and effect, really, if you're thinking about cause and effect, it ends up being entirely about the cause of your decisions and the effect of your decisions. And you want to tell me...
So it's entirely about... No, it's entirely about everything. So again, where's the argument here? We're made by our life experience. You think otherwise. So go ahead and think that. You're silly.
You have a proof where the effect of your decisions...
He was arguing against futility, you idiot, and feudalism, fatalism. He's arguing against those things explicitly in the video, saying those things aren't true. So of course he has an argument saying, yes, there's no reason to be futile because the fact is we can't see the futility. We can't see enough of the causes and the effects to be able to be distracted by any kind of fatalism because we can't know. We can't know we're going to win World War III so I don't have to show up. See, I can't know that. So I'm stuck with the fact that maybe I do have to go.
Means you don't have decisions? Yeah, I don't think so. So
nobody says that. So again, this is, again, I even though Hofladay's language, I find it, the way he said it, I think he just fucked up. I don't think he really implied. Again, he was stating directly in the argument that he's making an argument against fatalism and feudalism.
The problem that your system has got.
So now he says the whole system of determinism is somehow flawed because Hoffaday wasn't incredibly articulate. So, and look, he's all proud of himself, like he made an argument. Yeah, there's no argument there. There's nothing. I mean, if I could put you back in philosophy school, I think they would laugh and mock this nonsense. they would play this video as how not to be a philosopher, how not to be a logician, that this is just a bunch of straw man and silly mush. And nothing like a good argument here anywhere. It's crap. It doesn't have anything to do with anything actually said by Hofstadter or anything actually said by me. Oh, the logical imperialist. He's such an asshole. So let's see what he says here. There is no will. Well, it's silly to say there's no will, because we obviously have used the word will to describe that which dominates, that which owns us. So the principles that win, the decisions that win, we call our will. As a metaphysical cause and effect, it might be a good picture for humans to make sense of what's going on. Well, again, it doesn't really make sense of what's going on. It's just the idea that we obviously will, desire, want, and those things get called will. So the wants, and that's built on our preferences and our sensibilities, which are just programmed. Maybe that concept will be explained further in the future to make sense of the case where the law doesn't seem to hold. I don't even know what that means. The law of what? I am writing for the future. I'm waiting for the future to bring in truth. As until then, I'd say it's a good concept for most pragmatic sciences such as biology and psychology and sociology and economics. This comment doesn't mean anything at all to me. Those will be explained further in the future when we will have a physical theory of societies. Doesn't even make sense. The internet and everything, or everything as I should put it. Well, that was just about the biggest pile of crap ever written in the history of writing. There's nothing about the future that's going to have, even if you could model everything, the model is still so fucking complicated that seeing it wouldn't do you any good. Except speeding it up, maybe. You could speed it up and see what doesn't or does work. You could see outcomes using the model. But you wouldn't actually be able to understand the model, because it still has too many moving parts. Well, yes, there would be decisions to make. Clearly shows that other forces always play upon our intended outcome. And again, other forces that aren't controlled by what? Cause and effect? Where's the non-caused cause? Show it to me, please. As two things intended, and random or incidental, but without pre-consensual or outside agency. Oh, this is just, I mean, the commenters are just as bad as Pyrrho. Hey Pyrrho, fancy getting involved with this. It seems like the kind of guy who might enjoy this. Link below. Oh, that fucking sugar-ring guy. Jesus Christ. That stupid question is like, okay, atheist, this is the challenge to you. Make your best argument for God. There is no good argument for God. God's a silly fable. Okay? And people have been indoctrinated into believing in. There is no good argument for God. There's absolutely no evidence. It's on every level insipid and silly. Let's give you 70 virgins for doing something good. And I'll make the virgins out of women I was going to send to hell. I mean, they don't get to choose. Yeah. I mean, none of it makes any sense, you stupid dumb cunt. Fucking, oh, make your best argument for leprechauns actually existing. Why would I waste my time doing that? Make your best argument for Tinkerbell actually exists. Why would I do that? Shirk. Let's see what this is. A challenge to, oh god, it's his own video. What a fucking turd. Yeah, so Pyrrho wasted. So we can't waste 5 minutes on the subject of determinism. Well, barely 6 minutes on the subject of determinism. But he wastes 10 minutes and 41 seconds listening to this idiot do a video talking about some character, some crooked banker in Ireland or something, who's getting a raw deal because they're not showing the evidence proving his innocence at trial. The lawyers aren't proving him innocent. it's their job, right? It's the it's the prosecutor's job to prove him innocent. No, that's the job of it. The defense lawyers, retard. God, what a fucking idiot. So anyway. It's a thing. Didn't come from Freeville. No, I picked that up somewhere in life. I was surprised a lot. Yeah. Not free. Didn't come from Freeville. Came from my Lifeville. My Experienceville. This. Pointing. Talking to you. These mannerisms. They all came from Meville. My life Experienceville. Not Freeville.